let's get Tobit chapter 4, verse 5. What did Tobit was speaking to his son, and he gave Tobit wisdom as to how to fear the Lord. This was a blueprint as to how a man displays that he fears the Most High. Right now, this is Tobit telling Tobias, his son, hey, I'm about to die, and it's time for you to go and find a wife. These are the characteristics that you need to display. These are the ones that you need to have. And if you have these, you'll find the right woman. This is the type of woman that you need to find. Yes, he told Tobias what kind of woman he was allowed to marry. And yes, Tobit listened. Let's get Tobit chapter 4, verse 5.
Tobit chapter 4, verse 5. My son, be mindful of the Lord our God all thy days.
He said, be mindful of the Most High all thy days. Read.
And let not thy will be set to sin or to transgress his commandments.
Obedience to the Most High's law. Boom, right there. We already seen it. Read.
Do uprightly all thy life long.
Do uprightly all thy life long. Read.
And follow not the ways of unrighteousness.
He said, follow not the ways of unrighteousness. Go ahead.
Verse 6. For if thou deal truly, thy doings will prosperously succeed to thee.
Honesty. Does he possess honesty? Is he honest? Does he have a problem with lying? Simple. Does he have a lying problem? If he has a lying problem, he doesn't fear the Most High. He says, deal truly, and thy doings shall prosper, succeed to thee. So he's saying, if you deal wisely, if you deal honestly, good things will happen to you. So that means if you marry a person who lies and does things underhanded, guess what's going to happen to your household, sisters? It's not going to prosper. Go ahead.
And to all them that live justly.
And to all them that live justly.
Verse 7. Give alms of thy substance. And when thou givest alms, let not thine eye be envious. Neither turn thy face from any poor.
Neither turn thy face from any poor. He says, a man who fears God gives alms to the poor and to the just, as you can read in Acts chapter 10, verse 2. Giving alms unto the poor. A man who fears God gives alms to the poor. Read.
And the face of God shall not be turned away from thee.
And the face of God shall not be turned away from thee. A person who does not give, a person who does not give alms, who does not donate, who does not do service for the people who are less fortunate, the Most High doesn't even hear his prayers. The Most High won't listen to him. The Most High will turn his face from him. That's a key characteristic when you're looking at a man. Now, it's very difficult to tell if a man is donating or giving. So how do you know? We're going to find out here in a second. Read.
Verse 8. If thou hast abundance, give alms accordingly. If thou have but little, be not afraid to give according to that little.
A man who fears God is a giver. Whether he's blessed with much or with little, he's giving to people. Whether he's feeding somebody, feeding someone who's hungry, whether he's doing this, whether he's doing that, whatever the case might be, whatever he can do within his power, he's helping other people. Read.
Verse 9. For thou layest up a good treasure for thyself against the day of necessity.
Guess what that means? If he's hedged because of the alms that he's giving, guess who else is hedged, sisters? You. So if he's giving alms and he's making sure that he's taking care of the people who are less fortunate, he's storing up for days of necessity. That means that you are also being stored up for. That means that treasure that he has in the heaven, that reward that he has in the heavens, guess what? Guess who shares that with him? You. So if he's not giving, if he's not doing righteous acts of service for the people, you better get him on it. Because guess what? Alms covereth the multitude of sins. If you do wrong, the Most High, if you do wrong, this is why you see so many people who do all this evil and wickedness always donating to charities. You got a person who you know is a devil worshiper, and you see philanthropist under the on Wikipedia. Like, look, they make donations to people who are less fortunate. Why? Because they understand that scripture, alms covereth a multitude of sins. Does it omit you? Does it remove those sins? No. But when you make mistakes, when you unknowingly sin, those alms cover it, because now you're helping other people. Read.
Verse 10. Because that alms do deliver from death.
Alms do deliver from death. Read.
And suffereth not to come into darkness.
And suffereth not to come into darkness. That means that if you're in a tough situation and you help somebody out of it, when you get in a tough situation, that same person might be in a position to help you out of it. Read.
Verse 11. For alms is a good gift unto all that give it in the sight of the Most High.
Drop down to verse 14.
Verse 14. Let not the wages of any man which hath wrought for thee tarry with thee.
So remember how I was saying that if you can't see someone doing acts of service, righteous acts of service for people, feeding the hungry, wherever the case might be, or giving donation or something like that to people, or giving to people, right? If you have a catch, if you have fish, give some of it to people who are in need, right? If you have a restaurant, instead of throwing away waste food, give it to the hungry, right? If you have, if whatever service, if you have a job or something, if you have leftovers of something, right, give it to people who might need it, right? But not all the time you can see that. So, sisters, how can you tell that a man? How can you tell that a man is giving according to the Most High? Check it out. Read that verse 14 one more time.
Let not the wages of any man which hath wrought for thee tarry with thee.
He said, if a man does work for you, a service for you, do not withhold his pay. Don't keep it with you. Read, what does it say?
But give it him out of hand.
Tipping. If you're at a restaurant with the dude and he does not leave a tip, he is not trustworthy. Because if a person can do a service for you and you not reward someone for their service, I can't trust you. I can't. That person, if that person provides you a service, you pay them for it. It's a small thing. It seems like it's a small thing, but if you go to dinner, obviously a chaperone dinner with a dude, and this dude don't leave a tip, don't trust him. Like, nah, bro, you ain't trustworthy. Ain't no way. You can't pay somebody. You can't. The scriptures say an honest wage for an honest measure. You pay someone according to their work, according to their service. So if somebody does a service for you, you pay them. You say a person wrought work for you. This person did work for you, and you're withholding pay. You're not paying them. It's like, listen, pay that person. So tipping, yes, that's a big deal. Person do all that work, and you can't pay them for the service that they did for you. I can't. You're not trustworthy. I can't trust you. Read.
For if thou serve God, he will also repay thee.
He said, if you serve the Most High, he's going to give it back to you. Because how does he understand that? Because he fears the Most High. He has a relationship with the Most. He's taken on the character of the Most High. Read.
Be circumspect, my son, in all things thou doest.
He said, be circumspect, my son, in all things. Be mindful. Be wise. Everything you do, you're paying close attention to. Calculate. Be calculated. If you got to do some just doing stuff on a whim, not really thinking about it, not planning nothing, don't trust the dude who on a whim. It's like, hey, let's go do such and such. Like, you got this big plan. Like, dude, you talking about going to Disney World? It's Thursday. Today is Wednesday. That's tomorrow. Like, what are you doing? A man who can't plan, a man who can't take the time to organize what he's going to be doing and when is not trustworthy. He has to be able to plan. It's like you're just doing stuff on a whim. Read that part again. He said, be what?
I'll back up a little bit. Be circumspect, my son, and in all things thou doest. What? I'm sorry. Be circumspect, my son, in all things thou doest. And be wise in thy conversation. He
said, and be wise in that thy conversation. What does he talk about? Does he talk about the Most High? Does he talk about money? You have no idea how many people you can catch just by let them talk. What are you talking about? Do you talk about the Most High? Do you talk about money? Do you talk about women? Do you talk about this? Do you talk about that? What a person talks about will tell you everything about them. Is he wise in his conversation? Does he talk about enterprise? Does he talk about business? Does he talk about his vision? Does he talk about how his vision aligns with the Most High? Does he talk about his ministry? Does he talk about things that are going to progress him towards his purpose? How he's going to achieve legacy? Wise conversation. Read.
Verse 15. Do that to no man which thou hatest.
He said he doesn't do to other people what he wouldn't like done to himself. He get mad at somebody else for doing something and go and do the same thing. Read.
Drink not wine to make thee drunken.
People who are addicts. Addictions are revealed with time. Sisters, this is the absolute last situation you want to be stuck in. Brothers, this is the last situation you want to be stuck in with a person who has an addiction problem. Every time you see him, like, it's like, listen, hold on. Every time you come to the door, you teeter-totter. Like, you ain't, hold on, you here, brother? Like, but things like that take time. People can hide an addiction for a time, but then eventually they get comfortable, and then next thing you know, they start slipping, and now you start noticing stuff. We've seen it firsthand, where it's like, listen, he was cool for 2 months, but the second them 2 months was up and he got exactly what he wanted, listen, you might as well roll the blunt, prepare the needle. Because he ain't like, listen, you married, yeah, you ain't going nowhere. like, hold on, like, we here now, like, come on, baby, like, we here now, we ain't going nowhere. Listen, hey, I'm gonna need you to go down there to Bevmo. I'm gonna need you to go down there to Publix Liquors and go and get me what I need.
Hey, my man, like.
You know, come on now, like you gotta time, people, patience, because all of these things take time to be revealed. You don't learn these things in 2 or 3 months. You learn these things over a year. You learn these things in 2 years. Once again, I asked the comment section, I asked those watching, how long is 1 year, 2 years compared to the entire rest of your life? Read.
I'm going to back up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Drink not wine to make thee drunken.
Yeah.
Neither let drunkenness go with thee in thy journey.
He said, don't allow. Not only this, but he got people that he with doing it. It's like, listen, he got everything. Seems like everything he do. Like, oh yeah, I'm going over to see a friend. I'm just going to a friend. I'm gonna go to the bar. Like, hold on. Like, he said, neither let your drunkenness make the journey with you. Like, it seems it's because all these behaviors, guess what? They affect you. They affect your household. Read.
Verse 16. Give of thy bread to the hungry. Once
again, back to alms.
And of thy garments to them that are naked.
If you have a jacket and you see somebody who doesn't have one, give it to them. Like, it's just certain things that you can see from a person. Do they take their clothes and they throw them out, or do they donate them? Do they take food and throw it out, or do they give it to someone who's hungry? I promise you, they don't care. I promise you, like, people are like, oh, you just throw out something that you ate off of. It's like, I promise you that person's not gonna mind. I promise you they won't. Read.
And according to thine abundance, give alms.
And according to thy abundance, give alms. Read.
And let not thine eye be envious.
Let not thine eye be envious. People who are always looking at what other people have, like, dang, how come everything's going so well for them? Why is everything going so well for them? I'm over here trying to do what I'm supposed to be doing according to the Most High God. And look at him. He's acting wickedly and he has everything. Look at his car. Look at his house. Look at his this. Look at his that. People like that? No. He doesn't fear the Most High. Read.
I'm gonna back up. And let not thine eye be envious when thou givest alms. Verse 17. Pour out thy bread on the barrel of the just, but give nothing to the wicked.
But give nothing to the wicked. Right? They don't reward wickedness or evil. So listen, hold on. You think I'm gonna continue hoping you in the state that in the state that you're in? The Most High has you where you're at for a reason. I'm gonna let you stay there until you decide that you're gonna do better. But those who are just, who are in a low estate, who are in a low position, you help them. Talk to them. Have lunch with them. Talk to them. Hey, figure out what's going on. But you help the people who are in need. But the wicked who are being punished, you can tell the difference. I promise you. You can tell the difference between people who are abased, between people who are wicked. There's a difference. There's a clear difference. The rock bottoms look different. The attitude they have in that place is different. Go ahead.
Verse 18. Ask counsel of all that are wise.
Ask counsel of all who are wise. Sisters, a man who fears the Most High is always around people who are wiser and more knowledgeable than he is. If he's hanging around if he's hanging around peers, he's stupid. If he's not hanging around anybody who can sharpen him, he always trying to sharpen somebody else. Nah. Read that part again.
Ask counsel of all that are wise.
He's always trying to learn wisdom. He always has questions. He's always trying to figure something out. He's actively seeking the Most High. Go ahead.
And despise not any counsel that is profitable.
And despise not any counsel that is profitable. How you have to see how learned and well versed. You have to see what learned and well versed he is. Who is he hanging around? Who is he talking to? Who is his conversations with? What conversations is he having? How well does he accept correction and counsel of any kind? When he does something wrong, how does he take correction? How does he accept counsel? Because you are his counsel. If he can't accept counsel from the elders, from his parents, how do you think he's going to accept it when he's wrong from you? Do you think there's going to be a discussion when he makes a decision? He doesn't accept counsel. He doesn't listen to anybody. Men who can take advice of the wise will be successful in their relationships as they never lean on their own understanding regarding matters of their house, faith, and marriage. Guess what happens when they run into a roadblock in their marriage? They're going to go to somebody wiser. They're going to go talk to their father. Hey, pops, you've been married. You've been through this. I'm sure you endured this before. What do you think? Hey, I know you know your daughter better than I do. This is what's going on. I need a way to fix it. Like, what you got?
Replace that nail.
Get rid of her. Right? You have to go to people. Because guess when he's willing to go to those who are wiser for counsel, guess what? There's always going to be a resolution. It's always going to get resolved. That means, sisters, what does that mean for you? Progress, not stagnant. It means he's not going to make the same mistake twice. He's constantly learning. Read.
Verse 19. Bless the Lord thy God always, and desire of him that thy ways may be directed.
He said, now he's saying he's constantly in prayer. Every decision that he's like, hey, what should I do here? Should I go here? Should I do that? Should I do this? Should I do that? Everything he puts into prayer before the Most High. He said, desire of him that thy ways might be directed. He's constantly looking to be led by the Most High. Anytime you ask him a question, Hey, what about this? Hey, I'm gonna have to put it in prayer. I'm gonna pray about it first. What about this? Well, this is my thought, but I'm gonna obviously put this in the prayer. What do you want to do about this? Well, it's all a matter of the Most High. I'm gonna have to put it in the prayer. If he leans on the Most High for direction, that's the perfect. He leans on the Most High for direction. He takes the counsel of those who are wiser than him. He's constantly learning. He's constantly trying to grow. He's constantly seeking the Most High. He's obedient to the law. You got yourself a good one. He fears the Lord. Read.
And that all thy paths and counsels may prosper.
Why is that important? Because the path that he's on is the path you're on. And if his path prospers, guess who else's path prospers? You guys have to think that way. Sisters have to think that way. This man is my livelihood. He's going to lead me to life, or he's going to lead me to death. Read.
For every nation hath not counsel.
He said, every nation hath not counsel. This system that the Most High set up amongst Israel, not everybody has. This system that we have in this church, where you have people that are older that you can go to and seek wise counsel, where you have elders, you have bishops, you have deacon, all these people that you have deaconess, you have elder women of the church, all these elder statesmen. This system doesn't exist everywhere else. You go to anywhere else, you're on your own. Take advantage of it. If he's not taking advantage of it, if she's not taking advantage of it, it's the same thing for sisters. If you don't see a sister trying to learn from the older sisters, instead she's hanging out with the younger sisters that don't know squat, it's a red flag. Read.
But the Lord himself giveth all good things, and he humbleth whom he will, as he will. He humbleth whom he will, as he will. Now, therefore, my son, remember my commandments, neither let them be put out of thy mind.
So he's saying, these are my commandments to you. This is what I'm telling you to do before I pass away, before I die. You hold to these. That's the blessing or the cursing. If he holds to the words of his father, he's blessed. If he goes against the words of his father, he will be cursed. Nothing he does will work. Nothing he does will work. The blessing of the father is the greatest thing, but the curse of the mother is the worst. Why do you think they took it so seriously when their parents said, hey, you go over here, you marry this person? I'm like, all right, gung-ho, I'm going to do it. Why? Because they understood, this is the commandment of my father. If I don't do what they told me to do, I'm cursed. My household is cursed. No matter what I might think is the right decision, whatever I might think is smart, it's not going to work. Because it was outside of the will of what the people in authority over me set me up to do. Why? My responsibility is to carry on your legacy. Therefore, my responsibility to you is to obey. It is important, and Elder, I want you to pitch in on this as well. It's important that women make sure to go to leadership about men to determine whether or not he's ready to be married. Women, don't lean on yourself. Don't think that you can figure this out on your own. Go and talk to an elder. No one knows a man's situation better than the man who's teaching and guiding him. If you go to an elder or a bishop over over one of your bodies, over one of your churches, and you ask about a man, he's like, I don't know who that is. Red flag, he ain't ready. Because obviously he ain't asking no questions. He's not trying to seek any kind of wisdom. He's just there.
And women, that's not to say that you're not wise or that you don't have any sense or you can't think for yourself. Right? The thing of the matter is, you're emotional. And oftentimes you're led by your emotions. And that can be destructive often. Can be destructive. It can lead you down the wrong path and you regret it later. We've been through it so many times. Where, a woman all in their feelings and things like that. And so she ignores all the red flags. It's like, listen, well, we can polish that up. We can fix that. And oftentimes you can, but a lot of times it's deeper issues that you're not going to see on the surface. Yeah. And sometimes men can recognize game, so to speak, you know what I mean? So sometimes it's better to lean on those that are wiser than yourself.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like the fact of the matter is that you may be right. He may be the one, just not right now.
That too, yeah, exactly.
Just not right now. He has a lot of growing to do. He has a lot of things he needs to learn. He has some things he needs to acquire. And once he gets those things, then he's prepared for all of that. Right? Proverbs 31 and 23. Go ahead and put that up there. Her husband is respected at the city gate. He takes his seat among the elders of the land. That's going perfectly where we're going. That's right there? Yeah. This goes perfectly to where we're going. Leadership understands that not every man, we as leaders, the presiding elder, we all understand that not every man is going to be a leader. Not every man is going to take the position of a leader. Even though they should. Every man should desire the position of a leader. But not every man is going to have the position of a leader. But our main question when we're determining whether or not a man is ready to be married, our primary question is, would I entrust him with the position in the church? That's how we, elder, am I wrong?
No, not at all.
If we're determining whether or not a man is ready for marriage, the first question we ask is, would I trust him with a position in the church? Because if he can't guide the flock here, he's not going to be able to guide his household there. If I can't trust him to get up here and teach a lesson, I can't trust him to get home and teach his family. If I can't trust him to keep the law and to show forth a good example before the people, he's not going to show forth a good example before his household, before his children.
Proven begins before proven actually begins.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at what they're already doing.
Mm-hmm.
What are they doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
It's not all this what I would like to do. No, what are they doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
And that's all the things that we tend to overlook.
Mm-hmm. These are all things you have to keep in mind. These are all things that we're thinking about. It's important that sisters, hey, if you think that if you believe that you're ready for marriage, you go and talk to your father. Hey, pops, I'm thinking that I'm looking at him. He'll be like, all right, I'm going to go to the elder. You go and talk to the elder. Hey, what do you know about this person? He goes and talks to the elder. He said, or somebody, or if you don't have a father to go in representation or in proxy of you, you go to the elder yourself. And what he'll do, what's going on with him? And the elder will tell you, oh, such and such. That's a good brother. He's on the right path. He's ready to go. There's certain things that he needs to do. And there's certain things that needs to happen. But if that was the direction that you want to go in, I think that he's ready. We can get him, we can let him know what needs to happen, kind of present it to him, get y'all together, see what happens. We can go forward as according to the standards that the house of Judah has for the process, which you're going forward with later, which we'll let you know about next week. But it all comes down to the way we look at it is, would I entrust that person with the position in this ministry? And that begins first with age. You're not old enough to take a position in the church until you're 20. So it starts there. It's like, well, if he's too young, he's too young. But would I entrust this person with the position over the people? If we can't trust him with the position to lead in the church, if we don't believe that he's has the fortitude to lead in the church, or we don't know this person at all, the answer is no. He can't lead a wife he can't lead a church. Therefore, he can't lead a household or a wife. No. And sisters, you have to be okay with knowing that no is to protect you. And it may not mean not ever. It may just mean not now. He has some things he got to work on. Come back to the table in 6 months, 6 to 12 months.
That is okay.
And that's absolutely okay. Remember, what's 1 year? What's 1 year, 2 years say an entire life? The same thing goes for women. You go and ask the elder stateswoman of that church. Ask the elder woman, the elder's wife. She's going to likely be over the sisters in that body. If a brother's like, hey, elder, think about this person. The elder goes, he goes and talks. The elder goes and talks to the elder woman. Hey, what do you know about sister such and such? What's going on with it? And now you can begin to knock this thing down. Now that you can go and talk, you can have a conversation with her father. Should it get to that point where now you can begin to have this conversation, because the elder woman is going to know whether or not she's ready to be married. Nah, she's not ready. She's immature. She's emotional. She's sensitive. She's this. She's just now coming out of the world. She needs time. She doesn't fully understand. She doesn't know the truth yet fully. She still needs to understand the doctrine and everything like that. So she's not ready yet. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like woman being fashioned after the Holy Spirit must take on her characteristics and qualities, man being fashioned after the Most High must do the same. It's the psychology of man and woman. It started first with masculine and feminine. It's only by understanding the nature of the Most High and the Holy Spirit that we can truly begin to understand what it takes to have a successful union without conflict. To where we can now truly begin to understand what a righteous man that fears the Most High and what a good woman looks like.